Uvracha. I'm Rabbi Joseph Beda from Congregation B'nai Yitzchak. This week the Torah tells us of one of the greatest tragedies in the entire Torah, the death, the premature death of Rachel in childbirth. She's waited so long to have children. She struggled to have Yosef and finally did, and now she's giving birth to a brother, Binyamin. And it's on the way to where they're going to ultimately live in Eretz Yisrael, and she doesn't make it through the childbirth. It's a horrible story, and it has major implications for Yosef, for Binyamin, for the family, for Yaakov. Enormous. Yet, the Tanakh teaches us something, and the Chachamim and the Midrash pick up on it. We are told later, when Bnei Yisrael is going out into exile, that there is a voice heard in Ramah. And it seems like there's a Midrash which explains that when Bnei Yisrael was going into exile at the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, Hashem was ready to destroy all of Am Yisrael. And many of the greats, the forefathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, appealed to Hashem to try and save Bnei Yisrael from destruction. And Hashem would not listen to them. And it was only Rachel, whose crying and tears was able to have the zechut and the power to convince Hashem to keep Bnei Yisrael alive. She, the one who died in the tragedy, was ultimately, because she died in the tragedy, her grave was on the side of the road that Bnei Yisrael would have prayed to on their way out to exile, and then she was able to have the zechut for them. And what we can learn from this very powerful midrash is that a tragedy is a tragedy, and you can't take away from a tragedy. But somehow, some way, even though it's a tragedy, Hashem can make a plan work. It could take 1,000 years, but somehow everything Hashem does is part of the grand plan.